ready for the step up in competition coming this week?
You know, I think so. And I think the confidence for our guys comes in who they practice against. Throughout the course of a fall camp, they've been going against one of the best defenses in the country, and now they're going to really be tested on the lights in the Valley versus Auburn defense. So I think the guys will be excited to play. Obviously, I don't feel like they'll be overwhelmed, but they are going to be challenged by the athleticism, just to how fundamentally sound they are, how hard they play. It's going to be a good challenge for us.
Do you feel like you guys saw what you wanted to, obviously, out of the Kent State game, at least not to be so concerned with questions about the newcomers and how they'll be able to fit in?
You know, very pleased with how we started. You know, last year when you watched the Auburn game, obviously we came out with a win, but we didn't play our best football. We started the game with a procedure penalty, and then we just had drop balls, and weren't as consistent running the ball at times as we wanted to be. But what you saw is just a team that looked like they've been practicing for 30 practices. So that was, that was pleasing as a coach. You always worry about an opener. First-time players out there. You got a new quarterback, you got a new center, you got a lot of new pieces. But the communication was where it was needed to be. The targeting was where it needed to be. The effort was there. So very pleased with how these guys prepared and how focused they were going into that opener.
Last year, Auburn held y'all to a few yards all year, and huge points all year. What was it they did different than anybody else, or was it anything they did different?
They challenge you athletically. They can run with you at all positions. They're physical at the point of attack, and I think just from a yardage standpoint, we did drop a bunch of balls. We dropped a couple touchdowns. We had some big plays that we left out there. I think that might have given us the feel that we wanted from a yardage standpoint. But no, they challenge you. They can match up. There's no matchup advantage that we have, or we feel like, as opposed to some other teams defensively.
They lost a couple of really talented players on the defensive line, but a lot of people feel that they may be even deeper in talent, more talented than last year. Is that what you've seen?
Yes, I think number 5 is a little bit bigger than number 1, who they lost, Travius and Derek Brown. He's a young man that I had a chance to recruit out of Georgia. A very, very good player. Obviously, he's a great pass rusher, very effective in the run game. And then all those guys are a year older, too. Obviously, Carl Lawson was an all-SEC player, but now you got Davidson with some experience. You got Holland that's now playing at a high level, and just from watching those guys on tape versus Georgia Southern, you can tell that they're more comfortable in the system. They're flying around. They were challenged schematically with what Georgia Southern does. The guys looked like they were in tune. The communication, you could see it on film. So we're looking forward to a challenge, and those guys are going to be excited to play. And then some of the guys that may not have played a bunch last year have had a spring. They've had an off season to prepare, and they got some game action last week. So defensively, especially on that defensive line, it's probably one of the deepest defensive lines that we've gone against in a while.
Did Kevin do a lot different than he did when he was here, and that you remember? Is it kind of the same stuff?
I think that what he's done is he's done a good job of maybe simplifying a little bit and getting his guys lined up and letting them play. You still see some of the same things that when he was here, but now that was almost 6 years ago. So over time you adapt. Obviously, he's one of the best minds in college football on the defensive side of the ball. He's going to study you, and I think I even heard him talking about Georgia Southern. He went back 6-7 years on that coordinator, so he's going to know our tendencies. He's going to know what we do. He's going to have his guys locked in, and then it's going to come down to, can we win the one-on-one matchups?
Last year, you had Deshaun Watson in these kind of games, and I know that was a sense of relief for you guys, and certain things you didn't have to worry about. How do you approach Kelly with these kind of games and about putting him in the right situations to be successful?
Biggest thing is, even with Deshaun, that was the first game of the season, and so he was coming off of an off season, and we didn't play great versus them last year. And so for Kelly, his biggest thing is just manage the system. The system works. You don't have to play outside of the system. Just take the plays that are there, manage the system, and you got enough guys around you that can help carry the load. So the biggest thing with Kelly is prepare the same way that you prepared for Kent State. Come out with that laser focus and make the throws that we need you to throw. Run the ball. We need you to run the ball, and then try not to play outside of yourself and just let the system and the guys around you let your talent be highlighted.
How much did y'all throw at him in camp to get him ready for this kind of game? Because he's going to see a similar defensive front like we saw in practice, I guess.
Well, you put the whole package in the course of fall camp. You have 30 practices, so actually he got exposed to everything that we do within our offense. And then each week you're going to have a game plan that's going to be specific to the structure that you're facing defensively. And for us to even be successful on our practice field versus Brent, obviously you got to have your whole package in, because he's going to challenge you, and it's very, very competitive. And so you got to make adjustments in what you're doing throughout the course of camp. And so that's good for us, and we take confidence in that, knowing that by the time we get to the season, there's not going to be anything that Kelly hasn't seen. Now, it may be a while since he's seen it, but at least he'll seen it in camp, and then he can draw back on his experiences practices and fall camp to be prepared for games like this.
Did y'all go to Brent at any point and say, hey, throw this at him, I want to see how he responds?
No, not because we knew it was coming. we didn't have to ask. It was almost like you wanted to say, hey, Brent, can you wait a little while before you show that? But it's just a testament to I think how we've evolved and grown as an offense is because we're challenged every single day in practice physically, and we're challenged schematically with what Brent does, and then you got to match the intensity. And so everything that we do on our practice field prepares us for opportunities like this Saturday.
Tony, I know the game got out of hand, but how did you like how your running backs performed last week? Did you see everything you wanted to see out of them?
You know, I saw the increase in the big play. That's something I've really been challenging those guys on understanding, you know, where their eyes need to be at the first and second level to be able to get to the third level to create the big play. So I was pleased there. Still got some footwork things that we need to clean up, and I think some of that was a jitter, especially with Travis and you know, Taven a couple times, just excited to be in there and trying to go too fast, and really didn't get challenged from a pass protection standpoint. Travis did a couple times, and I was pleased with his effort. Now his technique has to improve, but he was throwing his body in there trying to, you know, keep hits off the quarterback. So saw things, but still a lot of opportunity to get better and grow because our pad level wasn't where it needed to be, and our eye discipline wasn't quite as sharp as I wanted it to be.
You mentioned the big play, both Travis and Tavian broke big runs. Do you think with their speed you might be even more dangerous for the home run threat than you were last season with Wayne?
You know, I think they're different kind of backs. I think what made Wayne special is, man, he did the dirty work, and then he found some big plays and created some big plays. I think these young backs have to learn how to get through the second level, and I think that's what you saw the improvement with Taven is being able to be disciplined and physical through the first and second level, and then let your speed take the third level. And then Travis is just a natural. He's got unbelievable, you know, I say eye to feet coordination in that he doesn't have to slow down to make any cuts, and he sees and anticipates as good as I've ever seen. And so I think, you know, in the long run, those guys will give us some opportunity. And then CJ found a counter there, I think about 25 yards for a touchdown. And Choice obviously didn't have the big play, but he was very, very low to the ground, running hard, and he took the plays that were there. So I'm very excited. The competition is the biggest thing. And I think that hopefully everybody will see now that you got four guys, you know, as Travis emerged to be the fourth guy that can go in any situation, and it's going to help us, you know, throughout the course of the season because you don't have a drop-off when you're trying to substitute guys.
Are you comfortable enough with Travis at this point with what he needs to do in pass protection, that kind of stuff, that he could play in the second half of the game like this if it's close?
You know, I'm comfortable for the standpoint of we got a quarterback and we can help him, you know, get targeted in the right direction. From a strength standpoint, he still has to improve there. But what I like about Travis is he knows where he needs to improve, and right now he's just relying on his effort, you know, to get him through until he gets the muscle memory that he needs through practice to develop the technique. So definitely feel confident with him as a runner, and then as a pass protector, it would be my job and the quarterback's job to help him make sure that he's targeted the right way.
Tony, I think this year in the ACC there aren't any first-year coaches. And particularly, you guys are a very veteran staff. How important is that continuity to what you've been able to accomplish? I mean, both Dabo, you and Jeff, Brent, on and on and on.
You know, I think it's huge, and I'll just, you know, kind of let you inside of last week's game. We were anticipating a particular structure from Kent State, and then they came out in something a little bit different. And all it took was a couple of words, you know, little small exchange of communication on the headset, and boom, we're able to make the adjustments because we've all been in the system. You know, we know the answers. We know the challenges of each play call. We also know the answers if we're getting this, and just everybody being on the same page. And when we go to game plan, there's no ego involved, and so we're just trying to find the best set of plays to give our players an opportunity. So I think it's huge. And then just preparing throughout the course of the week, you know, you're not chasing ghosts, you're not all over the place with guys trying to get, you know, certain play calls on the table. We're trying to find the best plan because we know that our continuity and the way that we communicate amongst each other is going to directly reflect how our kids play and how they communicate.
2 sacks allowed on Saturday. You're one of the best offensive lines in the nation last year, preventing sacks. How important is that, especially for a young quarterback like Kelly, to have that confidence? His athleticism, I'm sure, helps in that regard as well.
You know, that's huge, and going into every game, you know, our top 2 points of emphasis are protect the quarterback, protect the ball. If we protect the ball and we don't let the quarterback get hit, we're going to be hard to stop. And our guys take a tremendous amount of pride, and it's not just the offensive line, it's the backs, and it's also the knowledge of the quarterback, too, to make sure that we're in the right protections and we make the right adjustments. And so, you know, we spend a lot of time making sure that we're prepared to protect the quarterback. And anytime that quarterback can stand there with confidence, knowing that his 6 or 7 guys are going to protect him, you know, it's huge going down the stretch.
Probably a better question for Jeff, but we all have to have receivers blocking at the same time.
You know, what you saw is those big runs is directly related to tight ends and receivers blocking downfield. And when the backs can break the second level, you know, what's going to be the difference between a home run like Taven hit or even, you know, Travis breaking a long run is have the receivers done their job, and they did a really, really good job. And you even saw guys, you know, peeling back. Hunter Renfro had a big shot on one of Mylan's runs, and so that's huge for us. And again, it just goes back to core values in our program of playing through the whistle, doing your job, not worrying about who gets the credit, and not spectating, just playing through the whistle. And that's something that we're going to continue to harp on, and we got some good tape to show them, to praise them, but then also to challenge them that this needs to be the standard every single time we step on the field.
With all the talk maybe about Auburn's offense and kind of the different things that they do, you feel like the defense gets overlooked at times? I mean, I think they finished 7th nationally in scoring defense last year.
No, I wouldn't say overlooked. Obviously, they're in a tough division over there with a lot of really, really good defenses. But I think everybody respects and knows that Coach Steele is one of the best defensive minds. And just to see the improvement that they've had over the last couple of years, the way they've been able to recruit on that defensive line, they got some creatures back there in the secondary. It looks like they've really, really improved their length on the back end. And then their linebackers, you can tell that they're downhill guys. And then they got a couple athletic guys that they roll in. And so, I wouldn't say they get overlooked. Obviously, with the head coach being an offensive guy, there may be a little bit more talk. But defensively, man, they're as good as we're going to face.
Thank you, Coach.